Alright guys, let's jump into the video. So I want to tell you guys the things you need to know before you even attempt to wheelie. Things you should know about the bike when it's stationary to help you wheelie before you even get started. Because it was hard for me to find these things on YouTube or online about the things that help you wheelie before you even start practicing. And I want to share those with you guys. I'm going to be using my SE Fast Ripper because this is what I wheelie on. I don't really wheelie on my mountain bike. This is, I guess you could say, my substitute for a hardtail because it's a cruiser style bike that you can do everything with besides hit the trail. So I use this when I wheelie or ride around the city. So it's easier for me to demonstrate on this because it's easier to wheelie. And I think these skills and these rules apply to any bike, honestly. The first thing you guys should know before you start wheeling is you want to raise your seat up pretty high. Kind of, I guess you want to raise it up even with the headset, I guess you could say, or maybe a little higher. I'm not sure the exact measurement, but make sure you can raise it up higher and that'll make it easier to wheelie. I know I got my seat low because when you get good at it, it's more comfortable to wheelie with the seat down when you're trying to do other stuff like tricks and take one leg off and stand on the pegs and different things like that. So for me, I got the seat down because it helps me do other things. But when you're starting out, you want to keep that seat up. It's easier to pull the bike up and it's easier to balance once you got the seat up. Okay, the second thing you want to know before you start is what gear to be in. This is a 10-speed. So some guys wheelie on single speed. My last bike I like to wheelie on was a single speed, but most people have gears. This is a 10-speed, and I would say the easiest gear to wheelie in my opinion, is 6th gear. So this is the gear I like to wheelie in when I'm just wheeling regular. I'm not going up any hills. I'm on flat ground and I want to go for a long time. I just keep it in that gear. It's the 6th gear. So I'm sure you guys noticed my seat. And like I said, you don't have to do this on your bike. You could totally wheelie without it being like this. But your seat, when it's slanted like this a little bit, let's see, I can get closer. When it's slanted like that, once you get the bike up, it feels normal. So my seat is slanted like that because once you get the bike up, you'll feel that balance point. And with the seat slanted like this, it'll feel like you just sit normal. But if it's straight, then you'll feel like you're sliding off the back of the bike. So I like to use my seat like this when I'm using this bike because I only ride this bike to do wheelies. But you don't have to have the seat like this, but it definitely helps out with keeping that balance once you get it up to that balance point. Another thing to have to make the wheelies easier is high-rise bars. I mean, they can be low, but it'll just be tougher to wheelie. But when you got bars that's kind of up like these, it's easier to pull it up and it's easy to keep the wheelie up. And I'm gonna give you one more tip before we get started on actually wheelieing the bike. Tires like this with little rolling resistance, it's a lot easier to wheelie than knobby mountain bike tires. That's why I like wheeling this bike over my mountain bike because the tires are so knobby that if it grips one way, it'll just take you that way. But when you don't have any grip or little rolling resistance on your tires, you can control the bike whichever way you want. So it's easier to balance the wheelie. When you're using a mountain bike, when you have mountain bike tires, you can definitely wheelie it, but you pretty much have to go straight. It's hard to turn and maneuver. These are the tires I use on this bike. I mean, you can see these tires don't have any tread on them. And they were made like that, so you can go faster and keep the wheelie going for a while. They're called thick slicks. But yeah, these are the tires I use. It took some getting used to, but I love them now. For doing wheelies anyway. Easy to get flat tires, but easier to do wheelies on them. First of all, before you even start wheeling, you got to make sure you have a decent rear brake because the decent rear brake will keep you out of a lot of situations. It'll bring the bike down and it'll also keep you up once you learn how to wheelie and get that balance point. So if you're just starting to wheelie, make sure you got a pretty good rear brake because the rear brake is everything when you're wheeling. Also, when you're learning how to wheelie, you want to learn how to jump off the rear of the bike just in case you need to. So say you pull the bike up. I need to get in an easier gear. Wait a minute. So say you pull the bike up and you don't hit the brake and you loop out. Learn how to jump off the bike like that. That's another thing that could save you is learning how to jump off the bike like that. If you're hovering that finger over the rear brake, you shouldn't have to do that, but if you need to, that's another option to save you from looping out. So make sure when you wheelieing, always keep your finger on this brake no matter what. Like it's a habit now for me to just ride like this. Always keep that finger on that brake, because that's what'll save you. All right, when you first getting the bike up, you want to have your power foot forward. So whichever foot you feel comfortable pressing down and then lifting up, that's the foot you use, because it's one fluid motion. So you press down with I use my left foot. So if you're right foot, just think of it as your right foot. So with my left foot, I press down and I lift up. So you can actually just practice that a few times, just like that, just in place, just to get used to that motion, because muscle memory, man, that's huge. That's bigger than a lot of people think. You do something over and over enough times, your body will just get used to it and do it like clockwork. So just make sure you practice pressing down and lifting up. All right, hope you guys enjoying this video. You still with me or what? Let me know down in the comments if you're learning anything, and hit that like button. Make sure you hit that like button before you get out of here, because I still got some more gems to give you guys. So let's keep going. All right, this one I feel like might sound a little stupid, but it definitely helped me out a lot. And like I was talking about with that muscle memory, it's just all about getting to that point over and over and over, and then once you get up there, you get used to it. And I'm talking about the balance point. You could just hold the bike up like this. So you could just hold the bike up like this, and then make sure you keep your foot on the ground, but you can hold the bike up like this, slowly let your finger off the rear brake, and just keep pressing it, like pushing the bike forward, keep pressing it, tapping it. And that's how you hold the balance in the wheelie. So for you to hold the bike up like this and keep tapping the brake, that's a muscle memory thing that you're gonna have to remember. So once you get up there, it don't feel so foreign, because that's what it did to me. It felt foreign. It just had to click for me. But if you just get up there like this and just keep tapping it, I would say do that for about like 3 or 4 minutes, I guess. And once you start practicing wheeling, your body will remember, oh, I've been up there before. I've tapped the brake while my front wheel was up before. It's weird how it works, but it's just something I learned from baseball. Repetition and just doing things over and over and over, your body will just adjust and just know what to do once it happens. So even though I'm giving you guys all these tips, it's one thing that you're definitely gonna have to do that's gonna make it all click. And no matter how much stuff I tell you, no matter how much I teach you, it's this one thing that you're gonna have to do no matter what, and that's practice. Practice a lot, and I mean a lot, hours and hours per week, for you to be able to get good at it at least. And it's fun practicing, because you'll feel the little certain things click in here and there. And I mean, you practice enough. I know people have jobs and they have stuff to do, but if you really want to learn it, you got to set out time and practice a lot. That's what I did. I literally practiced 10 hours one day because I was so determined to learn it. I practiced 10 hours one day. It clicked at the end of the day, and then I got carried away because I was so tired that I looped out and I rolled my ankle. So definitely don't overdo it. I just overdid it because I got so excited that I was learning. It's another thing that I need to mention that I didn't know until I started wheeling. Once you tap this brake enough times, once you start wheeling and you tap this brake enough times, your arm right here is gonna start getting like numb, and you're gonna start losing feeling. So don't get scared. It's just your muscles are getting used to tapping that brake. It's not nothing you need to be worried about. Just make sure you take a break. Once your body gets used to it, you won't have that pain no more. All right, I'm gonna show you guys a few wheelies just so you can see like the motion and everything. Make sure you're getting those reps in. You keep pressing down and lifting up. Just keep pressing down and lifting up. So those are my tips and tricks to learn how to wheelie. I might do a part 2. I wanted to do more video, but my GoPro died because it's so hot out here. The sun was beaming on it and I didn't know. So my GoPro died. I can't really talk and do wheelies at the same time with this camera. I got to do it with my GoPro. So I might make a part 2. Let me know if you guys want me to make a part 2. Let me know down in the comments if you have any other questions, because I'm definitely here to help you out, and I want you to learn how to wheelie because it's super fun and people love it. So make sure you hit that like and you comment and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for watching.